As a kid, his passion was to write, but his parents thought he was crazy and they tried to enforce him to go to law school. They even had him checked into a mental institution 3 times. He was persistent enough to chase his dreams of becoming one day a professional writer, and his famous book sold millions of copies internationally, worldwide. I shared this with you today because a lot of times we're under a lot of pressure from our society, our teachers, our parents, our whole environment, dictating what we should and should not do. Imagine had Paulo Coelho listened to his parents and became a lawyer. Would he have then written The Alchemist and the other books he's written? Who knows? However, I want you and myself to put this in our mind that we don't have to live up to nobody else's standards. The only thing is we have to live up to our standards and design the type of lifestyle that we want. But check this. One of the greatest films of all time, Apocalypse Now, was supposed to be filmed in 6 weeks. It ended up taking them 16 months to produce. Picasso, on the other hand, produced a ton of work, thousands of paintings, and only a handful made it to exhibitions. Which begs the question, why create a lot of work if only 5% are going to make it to the final stages? You see, as creatives and creators, you and I have to put this one thing in our mind. 90% of the work will be cut down into only 5%. And why you do that? Is to select the gems and jewels to make it to the final stages, such as what Picasso did. I'm addressing this today because it literally takes time to develop a style. In today's society where we want things now and we want them immediately, maturity is a very powerful tool. If you think about it, most artists, creators, or whatever you want to call them, didn't reach their peak until very late in the game, very late. Hitchcock didn't hone in on his craft of building suspense and leaving audiences in awe until he was 50. Jane Austen didn't write her first book until she was 35, believe it or not. And the list goes on and on and on. So you and I, we have no choice but to grow old. But what we do have is a choice to not grow up. We gotta remain childish-like and playful attitude that we bring to our craft, to our humor, to our personality. That way we can create from a place of opportunity. So remember to be patient and understand that it's mind over matter, where the matter may be a camera, a paintbrush, ink, and the matter doesn't really matter because it's all in the mind, hence mind over matter. Did I lose you yet? Sorry. And regardless of your creative medium, you and I, we really gotta start to embrace imperfection. It is only when we seek perfection that we end up disappointing ourselves. You see, we are much more liberated and much more free to create when we seek to learn, seek to experiment. And it's really beautiful to see that Starbucks always launches products right before they are perfect to be launched, and they figure it out along the way. You see, having high standards for yourself is about making a product or an item or a project as best as possible, whereas perfection, on the other hand, is cut. And what separates the successful from the pack is how they respond to the inevitable setbacks. Psychologists call this a 90-10% principle, saying that 10% of life is what happens to you. The other remaining 90% is how you reply back or how you respond. See, when something happens bad to somebody's life, they usually reply with a lot of anger, frustration, but not you, not the creative, not the ones looking for a positive outcome, a positive, positive respond. And until next time, I leave you with this last message. Take care. And they had him doing electric shocks for treatment. And they had him doing electric shocks. And they had him do electric I share this with you because however, if you and I want to do something to dictate for ourselves or designing, if we want the type of life that we want, and if we want the life, and the reason I shared this, right? And make you see, as creatives and creators, You see, as creatives, and the reason I'm addressing this today is because I don't know why I'm sharing it today, to be honest with you. Start training ourselves. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, what the fuck was I saying, bro? And regardless of your creative medium, we really have to start. Regardless of your creative medium, we really gotta. Why is it so loud? And regardless of your creative, in imperfections, there's a lot of. Oh my God! And what separates the successful? And what separates the successful from? And what distinguishes? And what separates to the inevitable? The disappointments, inevitable disappointments. And what distinguishes? Oh my God.